up, Taters, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be going over the new YOUNGLA for Her that is going to be dropping this Tuesday, September 30th at 12 p.m. PST, 2 p.m. CST, and 3 p.m. EST. So as always, have your calendars marked, have your alarms set. I will, of course, be sharing a countdown over on my Instagram stories the day of launch, just in case you guys need a little extra reminder. You can turn on the notifications for that, and it will alert you when the drop goes live like that minute. And as always, before we get all the way into this try on haul, let's go ahead and go over my height, weight, and measurements. I am 5'8". I'm about 140 pounds. My measurements are 34, 26, 40. That is a bust, waist, hip ratio. And I, of course, will be sharing every single size I choose to get in every single item. And the first item that we're going to be going over are the new Elevate Outline sports bras. I am obsessed with these. I love these. I love the little like white lining detail around the entire sports bra. These are so gorgeous and so comfortable. I did personally choose to get 5 out of the 7 colorways that these are going to come in. So we are going to get this grape colorway that I have on here, but we're also going to get this light blue colorway, this teal colorway, this black colorway, and this taupe colorway, and I will be trying every single one of these on. Now, in majority of the colorways, except for the taupe, I did choose to get all 4 of these in a size medium, and then I did decide to try out a small. Truthfully, I wish I would have gone with the size small, but I will be showing you guys a comparison of the medium and small on. So I'll be trying on every single colorway for you guys, that way you can see sizing difference, and then also see how the colors look on my skin tone. And then quickly going over all the details on the sports bra off body, you are going to get this white lining all the way around this entire sports bra. This is the back. You are going to get that little YOUNGLA logo in the middle. It is going to be rubberized. And then we are, of course, going to get removable cut pads. You can either choose to leave those in or take those out, whatever you prefer. And then on these, I did want to note that we do not have any adjustable straps. So that is why I personally wish I would have sized down to a size small in all of these. If you don't have a really big bust, I would suggest sizing down because you want these to fit just a little bit more snug. As you can see here on the medium, I do have a little bit of like gaping on the bottom here, and I noticed that the straps do kind of sit a little bit looser. Sometimes they can kind of risk falling off the shoulder. However, whenever I put the small on, you're gonna see that it does fit me a lot better. But before we move on to the other colorways, here is the grape in a size medium on me all the way around. I love this like open like swoosh back detailing. Here is the teal colorway, again in a size medium on me. You do get the same detailing in the back. Here is the light blue colorway, again in a size medium on me, same detailing in the back. And then here is the black colorway in a size medium on me. Same details in the back, same details in the front, same white lining all the way around. All right, and here is the taupe colorway in a size small. As you guys can see, the straps are fitting me just a little bit better. They don't really risk falling off, and I don't have as much gaping here underneath my bust as I did on the medium. So that's why I suggest sizing down if you do have a smaller bust, or for some reason, like you just have like a shorter torso and you don't have quite as much space here. These are really stretchy. So I would go ahead and base your sizing off of what you think you would need as far as straps go, so that you don't risk anything falling off or like gaping around the edges. And here is the back of the taupe colorway. As you guys can see on the taupe colorway, we are going to get this black lining all the way around instead of the white lining like we got on all the other colorways. Now we are also going to be getting a charcoal and a cream colorway. The charcoal colorway is going to be like all the other colorways. You are going to get the charcoal color, you are going to get some white lining on the edges, and then the cream colorway is going to be a cream sports bra with a black lining just like the taupe here. And then again, up close really quickly, wanted to show you guys the difference between the medium and the small. As you guys can see, there's just a little bit of extra fabric for like your rib cage and bust area, and then you do get just a little bit more coverage in the bust. So this one fits me a little bit thicker. As you guys saw, the small did fit just a little bit thinner all the way across. And then as far as distance for straps, as you guys can see, the medium in the back does fit just a little bit longer than the small in the front does. All right, and next up we have the new Elevate Outline shorts, which is what I have on here. I did choose to get 2 out of the 6 colorways. So we are going to be getting this grape colorway, which I have on here, and this light blue colorway that I have on hand, but we are also going to be getting a black and white, charcoal, taupe, and teal colorway in these as well. And as always, you guys know we're going to be putting these shorts through both the squat test and the cellulite coverage test. So we're going to go ahead and get into that right after we go over all the details of these shorts. All right, I wanted to show you guys the details of these shorts up close. We are going to get this little like white stitching lining all the way around on these shorts. Now on the front side, we're going to get this little YOUNGLA logoing on the left side. It is going to be kind of like a rubberized material. material. And then on the back, we are gonna get this little rubberized logo. We are also going to get a little V-dip. I love this. It helps just give some like curvature to the glutes. And then as you guys can see, the waist does taper in from the hips on the shorts, which I absolutely love. It makes them fit the body really, really nicely. And then on the inside of these shorts, we are going to get a hidden butt scrunch. So this is what the shorts are gonna look like when they're folded inside out. However, when they are right side out, you can't even tell that it has a butt scrunch. I love this. And then going over cellulite coverage and squat test in the grape colorway. As you guys can see here, I do have a little bit of rippling on my thighs, which I do typically see. And then I do typically have some rippling on my glutes. However, it's not showing through on this material. Now the material on these shorts is going to be a soft brushed athletic material. So we do have a lot of stretch, but we do also get quite a bit of compression in the waistband. And then I absolutely love all of the white stitching and detailing all along the shorts. All right, and going in for a squat test on these. I'm not seeing anything show through. Now, like always, I am wearing nude underwear under these. However, if you were gonna see something, it would probably be about right here. So I would say that the grape colorway does pass the squat proof test and does provide a good amount of cellulite coverage. And then really quickly, per usual, as you guys can see, these little like scrunchy marks, I did choose to lift mine up just a little bit. So this leg is what the regular length on these shorts is going to look like. And then this leg is with them hiked to my preferred length. Then in these shorts, I did choose to stick to my typical size medium. Now these do tend to run just a little bit more snug. So if you are in between sizes, I would go ahead and size up. So say you're typically in between a size small or a medium, I would go ahead and go for the medium. If you're typically in between a medium and a large, I would go ahead and go for a large. All right, and here is the light blue colorway on. Again, these are going to be that same athletic brushed material. And then as you guys can see, I do have a little bit of rippling here. Now I will say that I do kind of see like the slightest bit of rippling in the light. So if you want the most cellulite coverage, I would go ahead and stick to the darker colorways. I think the only really light colorway in this collection is going to be the light blue colorway. So light blue in specific may not provide as much cellulite coverage as all the other colorways. And then going in for a squat test in these. Again, I'm not seeing anything show through. If we were going to, it'd be probably about right here. So I would say that these do pass the squat test. And then again, because I like to personally hike mine up just a little bit, I wanted to show you guys what the normal length on these is going to look like. So you are going to get just a little bit more coverage on these. You are going to get just a little bit more glute coverage than what you typically get whenever you scrunch them up like I do. It is a lot more snug in the waist so that it stays on and doesn't risk rolling or folding while I'm working out. All right, and next up we have the new Elevate Flare leggings, which is what I have on here. I did choose to get 2 out of the 6 colorways that we're gonna get in these. So I did choose to get this teal colorway that I have on here, and then I did also choose to get a black and white colorway. Now we are also going to get these in a full black colorway, so you're not gonna get any of the white paneled stitching. It is going to be the same stitching, but it's going to be in a black colorway, so you can't really see the stitching. It's not gonna be like out there. And then we are of course gonna get these in a charcoal, light blue, and taupe colorway to match some of the other sports bras that we're gonna be getting. And then as always, we are going to be going over the squat test and cellulite coverage test on these. However, let's go ahead and go over the details first. Now these flare leggings are going to be very similar to the shorts that I showed you guys earlier. You are going to get the same little like Young LA logoing on the side here. Also ignore, I got a little bit of dry shampoo on there from grabbing these. And then we are also going to get this little like white stitching that goes all the way down. It goes all the way down the side of the leg to the very bottom. Now the cool thing about these flares is the bottom does split. So I love the way that these look, especially with like some chunky tennis shoes on. And then on the back of these, we are not going to get the white stitching above the glutes like we do on these shorts. These are only going to have stitching that goes along the edges of the legs. But we are going to get that same hidden butt scrunch in these. So you can see the butt scrunch on the inside. It is kind of like an elastic band. However, you cannot see the butt scrunch on the outside. So this is going to help just give like a little bit of separation to the cheeks without it being like super noticeable. You know, you can sometimes see a scrunch from like a mile away. These, however, just add them a subtle little scrunch and separation to your cheeks without actually having like a scrunch right in the middle. I'll bring you guys all the way down so that I can show you the length on these. Now I am 5'8" and I chose to get a size medium. This is how the mediums fit on me. Like I said, I love how these have the little like cut at the bottom because these work perfectly with shoes. Now I will go ahead and say for any of my girls that are worried about the length, these do fit me perfectly whenever I have them on with just socks. However, when I put tennis shoes on, they do sit above the ground like quite a bit. So when you wear these with shoes, you do not have to worry. These are probably going to fit you amazingly. I've been showing you guys all the lining detailing that goes all the way down and around the leg. And then going over cellulite coverage on these, You guys know I typically have my rippling here and on my glutes. However, I'm not seeing any rippling show through on these. And then going in for a squat test on the teal colorway, I'm not seeing anything show through on these. So I would say that the teal colorway does pass the squat test and provide a good amount of cellulite coverage. And the material on these is going to be the same as the shorts. It is a nice brushed athletic material. In fact, the flares almost feel just like it has a little bit more of that like polyester athletic material, and it's not quite as brushed as the shorts. All right, and here is the black colorway on. Again, I chose to get these in a size medium. Like the shorts, I would suggest sizing up if you are in between sizes. So if you're typically in between a small and a medium, go ahead and go for the medium. If you're typically between a medium and a large, go ahead and go for the large. These do tend to run just a little bit more snug, especially in the waist compartment, just because they do taper in quite a bit. And again, since I am 5'8", this is how the length is fitting on me. I absolutely love these. These again do have the little slit at the bottom of the ankle. I think they look perfect, especially with shoes. And then going over cellulite coverage and squat test, you guys know I typically have rippling here and on my glutes. However, the black is going to be the most cellulite covering color. So if you're ever afraid of cellulite showing, I always suggest grabbing a black pair or a really, really dark pair. And then going in for a squat test on the black flares, I'm not seeing anything show through, so I would say that these do pass the squat test and cellulite coverage test. And then all the other colorways aside from the full black are going to come with the white lining and the taupe. The taupe is also going to come with some black line stitching through it so that it matches the sports bra perfectly. All right, and then next up we have the new Elevate cutout sports bras, which is why I'm choosing to hold the mic instead of clipping it on my necklace like I usually do, because I wanted to show you guys all the details on these cutout sports bras. I am obsessed with these. Now, as a smaller chested girly, I always love a high neck. I feel like it just, you know, makes your shoulders look huge, especially because like if you don't have much going on up here, it almost looks flat all the time. I love this, but I love the cutout detail too, because it also makes it feel like really, really feminine. Now, this sports bra is going to be more of a high impact sports bra. So if you're going to be doing any sort of like high impact activities, I would suggest snagging these over the other Elevate sports bras. However, I do love the other Elevate sports bras for lounging and lifting. And honestly, I don't really need a whole lot of support. So I wear those all the time. I'd wear these all the time, just depending on like what kind of style I want out of these. Now, these are going to come in 5 different colorways. I did choose to get the taupe colorway here. I am obsessed, but these are also going to come in a black, charcoal, grape, and teal colorway as well to match some of the other pieces that are also going to be dropping. And then on all of these sports bras, we are going to get this little Young LA rubberized logo. You are going to get this stitched like cutout detail. These are going to be a little bit more of like a long line sports bra, so you do get a little bit more under coverage than the other sports bras. And then the back of the sports bra is going to be like your typical razor back. You are going to get a little rubberized YLA logo there. Other than that, this is going to be a pretty plain back. And then per usual, we are going to get removable cut pads in these, so you can either choose to leave those in or take those out, whatever you please. And then in these sports bras, I would suggest staying true to size, since these are going to be a little bit more of a compressive, more high support sports bra. For me, the medium fits me perfectly. I feel like if I went any tighter, I think the like band around my rib cage would kind of be a little bit uncomfortable. So I suggest staying true to size on these. Okay, they're not as forgiving as the other Elevate sports bras that we're going to be getting. So yeah, I would stay true to size on these. I stuck to my typical size medium and love, love, love the way that it fits on me. All right, and next up we have the new Cloud sweat set. So these are going to come in hoodies and joggers. Now in these, I did go ahead and choose to throw on the joggers, so we're gonna go over those first. Now this entire Cloud collection is essentially just going to be the men's soft AF, but for women. So they're gonna come in a bunch of cute colorways. We are gonna get 5 different colorways. So I of course have on the black colorway here, and I did choose to go ahead and grab the purple colorway and the blue colorway in these, but we are also going to be getting these in a charcoal and a cream colorway. Now these are going to be that same like super, super soft, almost peach fuzzy material on the outside, and then they are going to be almost like a dry fit, silky material on the inside. These are not going to have any fuzzies inside of them. If you got any of the soft AF, literally is the exact same material. Only difference is these are made for the girly pops. I think the waistband is a lot more flattering for my girls, and then they also have pleated lines down the front of them. Hold on. I think you guys can see the pleated lines a little bit better on the purple colorway, but as you guys can see, the line goes all the way down the front. You do get this kind of like pressed in YLA logo on every single one of these. And as you guys can see, the waistband on these is just a little bit thicker. You do get drawstrings in the front. I love the way that these look. I love the way that these feel. Soft AF is probably like my favorite sweat set material ever. It's amazing for the airport. It's amazing for lounging and sitting. And I love wearing it to the gym too, just because then I can can sweat in it, the sweat just kind of rolls off. You don't get any fuzzies on the inside. And then going ahead and bringing you guys all the way down so that I could show you what the Cloud joggers look like on me. Now, the name says Cloud jogger, however, these are going to be an open leg sweat. They are not going to cuff at the bottom. I love these. Y'all know how much I love this material. This is like some of my favorite material ever, but I did want to go ahead and tell you guys that I chose to get size medium. This is how the medium is fitting on me. This is the length on the medium. On me, this is not tied up or anything. I can choose to like hike them up just a little bit more if I wanted more of a high-waisted sweat, and they'd probably sit just a little bit higher on my legs. However, for my short girls, don't ever be afraid to roll the waistband once. It brings up your sweats like 2 inches. It'll make them high waters on myself, but I am 5'8". So for my taller girls, these should fit you just fine. And then for my shorter girls, always remember to roll the waistband once. Literally looks the exact same, just as cute, and you do have drawstrings to tie them up if you need. And then we do also get pockets on the left and right sides of these sweats. All right, and here is the light blue colorway on. Now I did choose to get these in a size large. As you guys can see, they fit me a little bit too big in the waist. So I would suggest sizing down in these. I typically wear a size large in all sweats from YOUNGLA for Her. I also typically wear a size large in all of the men's sweats as well. However, I think the waistband on these does run just a little bit bigger. I can tie these up and they sit just fine. However, I do prefer the way that the mediums fit. I think as far as length goes, I like the mediums, and then also think that the mediums kind of snug around your glutes just a little bit better. So if you want these to be a little bit more like super oversized, go ahead and stay true to size. However, if you want these to fit you just like a little bit more snug, a little bit more grabbing on the glutes, I would possibly suggest sizing down. All right, and the last colorway out of the joggers, here are the purple ones. I am obsessed with these. Now I did choose to get these in a size medium. So I got the black and the purple in a size medium, and then I did happen to grab the blue in a size large. Prefer these in the medium over the size large. As you guys can see, it's just a little less baggy. I'm not having to tie them up, and they do fit a little bit shorter than the larges do on me. The larges were kind of really long. So for my shorter girls, I would go ahead and suggest sizing down. And again, we get the same detailing, same stitching across all of the colorways of these joggers. All right, and next up we have the new Cloud hoodies, which are meant to pair perfectly with the new Cloud joggers. These are going to be your typical like soft AF hoodie. Essentially, it's going to have that same like peach fuzzy material on the outside, same silky, cooling material on the inside. It doesn't leave any fuzzies at all whatsoever. And the purple colorway is so gorgeous. Literally pairs with the grape perfectly. The light blue pairs with the blue sweats perfectly. The black, of course, will go with the black. The charcoal will go with the charcoal. And then the cream, you can mix and match wherever you want. It's a cream colorway. You can pair whatever you want with it. But yeah, essentially the hoodies and the joggers are all gonna come in the same 5 colorways as each other. And then on all these hoodies, we are gonna get the same like pressed in YOUNGLA logo. You are gonna get your typical hoodie pocket on these. You are of course going to get your typical hood. And then I did choose to grab this hoodie in a size large. So this is how a size large is fitting on me. I love an oversized hoodie, so yeah, this one, it's fitting me quite oversized. However, you can stay true to size on these. You don't have to go oversized. I just choose to go oversized because I like how big and baggy it is. But yeah, I would suggest staying true to size if you don't want it to be like this. All right, and next up we have some new Elevate Crew socks. These are gonna come in like 2 different packs, but 3 different colorways are gonna come in each pack, if that makes any sense. So pack number 1, we're going to be getting a black colorway, like taupe colorway, kind of like tan colorway, and then a burgundy or grape colorway. It goes with the taupe or the grape. And then the black colorway I have on here, if you want to see what the black colorway looks like. Yeah, and then the second pack is going to come with a light blue, teal, and black colorway. So you get to choose which colorways you want, like on the little tabs. The whole sock is going to be white though, so each pack you get white socks. You just get to choose whatever like the logo coloring is. So if you want some socks, get you some socks. If you want to twin, we could twin. All right, and then the last item that is going to be dropping in this collection, I sadly do not have on hand. Unfortunately, the shipment was delayed and the warehouse didn't get them until after all athlete packages were distributed. So I sadly don't have any of the new Elevate running shorts. However, they are going to come in 4 colorways to go with all like the sports bras and everything that I've been showing you guys. We are going to get these in a black, charcoal, grape, and teal colorway. And I'm assuming, since on the website it says to stay true to size, I would stay to my typical size medium. Now, the only thing that I know about these is one, they are stinking cute, okay? And then two, they also have like a built-in spandex looking thing underneath the running short top. So I don't know about you, but that sounds great for me. Now, I am no runner, I am no track star, but if I was and I wanted to wear these to run, that's the type I would go for, because you know, you don't want to chafe your legs. Anyways, yeah, that's all the information that I have for you guys on those. I'm very, very sorry. I just couldn't get my hands on any of them to try for you guys. All right, my taters, that is everything that's going to be dropping tomorrow. All right, so I want you guys to be prepared. This is like one of my absolute favorite drops from YOUNGLA for her. Like, I love all of like the white lining, the detailing. I love everything. Y'all know I love the soft AF. So the fact that they made a women's version of the soft AF is amazing. But if you guys have any questions about literally anything, please feel free to drop them down below in the comments, message me over on my Instagram, or message me over on my Snapchat. I'm active on all of those platforms, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you guys may have. And as always, don't forget to use code TATER whenever you're checking out tomorrow, because it will save you an extra 15% on any YOUNGLA for her or YOUNGLA order, and it does help directly support me. So thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm gonna say it every single time, and I'm gonna give you a big old virtual hug right now, because I love you guys, and I wouldn't be doing literally any of this without you. Like, I owe literally everything to you guys. So thank you for choosing to support me out of all of the little fish in the sea. I don't know why I did that, but I did, and there's no taking it back. Yeah, anyways, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you later, taters. I love this drop so much. I love this drop so much. I love this drop so much. So much, so much, so much. I had to like hold myself back. I wanted every single colorway. That's how good this drop is to me. I'm like obsessed. Anyways, since I just got back from a photo shoot in LA with YOUNGLA for her, I had to kind of film this a little bit last minute, but that's a-okay. I'm super thankful for the opportunity to go and do a photo shoot, but that means that I need to hurry up and edit this really, really quickly so that you guys have it tomorrow, so that the day that the drop goes live, you know, it's like a trickling effect. But yeah, I need to edit this super, super fast. So peace, love, blessings. I love you all so, so much. And yeah, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you on the next one. All right? With a better performance, because I'm gonna have more time, I hope.